So, as Susan mentioned, my name's Owen. I'm the head of paid media at Hallam. And I've been asked today to talk to you about automation in online advertising and how it can be used to improve the efficiency of your campaigns. I'm also going to discuss a case study where small business, in a very competitive sector, has used automation to really improve the efficiency and in turn the profitability of their business. But before I go into that, I think it's only fair to tell you a little bit about myself. I look after a team of around about 7 consultants at the agency, and collectively we look after 65 clients and their online advertising interests. We look after their social media advertising, search engine advertising, and also affiliate platform advertising. Outside of work, I have a 5-year-old daughter who loves to take selfies on my smartphone. So fortunately, cloud storage has saved me a few times because I've got hundreds of photos just like that. And no matter how much I love her, I love her to bits, there's only so many of those photos you can see before you get sick of them. And finally, my spare time, I like to partake in judo. I compete. I absolutely love judo. Those who work with me know that. One thing I will say, that anyone who's not done judo, who may think about taking it up at some point, trust me, it hurts as you get older. But that's enough about me. I'm a pretty boring guy, so I've pretty much summed it up in those 3 pictures. But you're here to listen to me talk about automation, and in particular on paid media. But before I go into paid media, I want to discuss automation in marketing and as a whole, because automation isn't exclusive to digital media, anything but. If anything, it's actually been existing in other forms of traditional marketing for much longer than it has been in digital. So what you can see up there is a campaign in 2014, and some of you may be aware of this campaign and seen it before, but it was from British Airways. In 2014, they took over a variety of billboards, electronic billboards, across the country. And in doing so, these were located under direct flight paths leading into major airports. So the one that you can see here is Piccadilly Circus. It's located under a flight path leading to Heathrow. And what would happen every time a British Airways flight would fly directly over the billboard, the current advert that was running would be interrupted by a British Airways advert. A little child would appear on screen, jump up, point to the sky, and the flight details of that flight would show. There's a really cool brand awareness piece, but all this process was completely automated, using an antenna to pick up the flight details as it was crossing the billboard. Really cool. More recently, we've seen the introduction of more sophisticated proximity marketing. So what I want to talk to you very briefly is beacons. So many of you may be aware of what beacons are, but for those of you who aren't aware of beacons are, they're little devices basically that are located in bricks and mortar stores and dotted all around. And what they do is they connect via Bluetooth to a customer or potential customer's smartphone. And in doing so, the retailer or an advertiser can promote certain messages to that customer or potential customer's smartphone device. This could be offers on services or products or anything to entice them into the store, or maybe make a purchase once they're in store. They've had really, really mixed reviews, beacons. However, we do know the usage of them is increasing massively. They were originally used more in the US, so Macy's and the Target chain use beacons very, very well. And in the UK here, we've got Meadowhall, the shopping centre in Sheffield, and Eat, the restaurant chain. They both use beacons to good effect. This is the Chief Integration Officer at McGarry Bowen in the US's quote at a recent think tank that by 2022, he believes that 80% of all advertising processes will be automated. And although it's only an opinion from a think tank, for me personally, from my professional opinion, I think it's very hard to disagree with that, and if anything, it could actually be increased. But why is automation the preferred delivery method for marketing messaging now? Now, you have to bear with me here, but it all comes back to us being humans and how we act. We are the dominant species on the planet, and the reason we're the dominant species is because of how we use our brains. For hundreds of thousands of years, we've been carrying out various processes, and as soon as we find a quicker and easier way of going through that process, we'll adopt to it faster than any other creature. But with that, it's made us slightly lazy, it's made us impatient, but most importantly, it's made us really demanding in terms of what we expect. Now, fast forward to today, and that's exactly the same in terms of how we consume information. 10 years ago, we were force-fed messaging, marketing messaging. Probably even recent 5 years ago, we were force-fed messaging. And we were led to believe whatever we were being told. We were convinced, we were persuaded. But as Vikas mentioned, showed in one of his videos a little bit earlier, we have a wealth of information today at our fingertips. And with that comes great power. We now consume the information we want to consume. We consume it at the time we want to consume it, and we also consume it on a platform that we want to consume it on. So what does that mean for advertisers like myself and business managers like yourselves? It adds a challenge, an exciting challenge, but it's a challenge nonetheless. It means we need to get more sophisticated, we need to be more savvy, and we need to be more well-educated in terms of how we execute our messaging to make sure we get the return on what we're looking for. So let me focus on paid media. So like I say, this is my area, this is my background, and this is why what you want to listen to today. I'm just going to touch upon programmatic marketing. This term, many of you will be aware of, and some of you will probably have a good understanding of programmatic marketing. But I often have conversations with individuals who don't quite get on programmatic marketing, they don't really know how it could benefit them as a business. But basically what programmatic marketing is a real-time process of purchasing ad inventory with your adverts. And this is done through something called a DSP, a demand-side platform. Basically, as an advertiser or a business owner, you will set an objective, and you will allow a DSP to purchase ad inventory across a variety of networks designed to meet your objective. Now, this whole process is automated. These are recently some of the adverts that I've been targeted with. You can see that they are targeting me across different platforms. So you can see Facebook, you can see different ad networks which have followed me online as well as YouTube advertising. I've recently come back off holiday, so naturally I've got holiday blues. I look for my next one. I was targeted with various holiday messaging. I'm a big sports fan. Very much looking forward to the World Cup when I got targeted with that. And as you know, I'm a father, so my wife asked me what I want for Father's Day, and naturally went straight onto a beer website and saw what I could get. So I've been targeted with all these messages across different platforms, and I've been remarketed to. And the likelihood is a lot of this would have been through programmatic advertising, because they deemed I was more likely to convert at that moment in time. 28%, nearly a third, it's a huge figure. Programmatic is expected to account for 28% of ad spend in the year 17-18. That is a huge jump over the last 48 months that we've seen, and this is going to go up as well. So why has it gone up so much? Well, programmatic marketing is now available to small and medium-sized businesses more than it ever has done. The availability of the tools, the advertisers who are capable of doing programmatic marketing is much greater than it was previously, and like I say, that is only going to grow. So why is programmatic marketing so popular, and why does it get things so right? Well, if an advertiser gets programmatic marketing right, it gets these three factors correct in its targeting, audience, timing, and placement. Now, I speak to so many different business owners who come to me and say, I know exactly who my target market is, I know what they look like, I know what colour pants they wear, so these are the people I'm going to target, which is great, it's fantastic, but that's only one part of targeting. You target people at the wrong time, they're not going to convert. And like I said earlier, we are really greedy. We have high expectations as consumers. So if you get us at the right time, and if you don't put it in the right place, there's still a chance that we may not convert. So getting all three right is really, really important. Like I say, it's only if you can get it right. And you can get it right by using quality data. It's all underpinned by quality data. We are responsible as advertisers, and you guys as business managers, of setting the conditions of the data that we obtain that we use to fuel that programmatic marketing. Okay, this is a really cool example. I like this. It's not necessarily related to digital, but I think it helps explain poor data quite well. And again, some of you will be familiar with this campaign. But let's just say we work for a dating website. Generic dating website, and we have a new client who comes with a set criteria what they would like to meet in their match. They want a male, someone local, likes food, and has facial hair. So I think we probably have a fairly good idea what that person may look like. We have probably enough information to go off that first match. Now, that isn't what she'll be expecting to be matched with. And like I say, some of you may be aware of this. This was a campaign run by eHarmony last year. It was a TV campaign. But the message that they went with is, if you went with a generic dating website, that would be enough information for them to think they could match you accurately. However, they use a different set of algorithms. They use a better set of data to give you a more perfect match. That's something like this. Now, I don't think eHarmony were literally saying if you went with a competitor, they'd match you with a pig, but it does set the tone that you need to set them conditions right from the off. So understanding data, how many times have we heard big data said at conferences? I mean, it's so commonly said now. Now, big data is available to pretty much everyone now. These are various third parties that some of them we work with at Hallam, and where we source third-party data from. So it's available. That's not the issue. We've all got internal data as well we can use and tap into. But what is so crucial is the fact that we need to condition it. So think of data as a train and a train track. We are responsible for the train track. If we let an automated process keep gathering data, the train will keep going. But we're responsible for the track. So if we set that track from the start a millimetre out, you're going to end up in the wrong destination 100 miles down the line. And data is very much like that. So it's vital you get the conditioning right when you ask the question of what data you would like to obtain, whether from a third party or your own internal information. So, as mentioned, I'm going to talk about a case study, and this is a client of mine last year, a fashion retailer, really exciting client of mine, and they're solely e-commerce based. They sell designer label clothing. They work in an extremely competitive market, and these are some of their competitors. You'll be familiar with them. One of the big challenges my client has, they don't have the buying power for digital spend, and even more importantly, they don't have the buying power for the stock and the brands that the other competitors stock. So his objective, he came to me and said, okay, we're achieving a 500% ROAS. I need to improve the efficiency of my activity. I don't necessarily need more revenue. I just need to be more profitable. I need to be more streamlined. For those of you who are unaware what ROAS is, many of you will, but just in case you don't, it means return on ad spend. So for example, a 500% ROAS represents for every £1 an advertiser spends, they will get £5 back in revenue. And it can also be represented as a ratio of 5 to 1. So, we said, okay, fine, well, we're already doing advertising for you at the moment. We think it's running pretty efficiently. So let's test this on networks that we're already running on. So we tested on the search network, which are text ads, as many of you will be familiar with, and also PLA, so through Google Shopping Network. Now, at the agency, we run advertising campaigns, and a lot of our activities based on bidding options. This means how your adverts are, how much you spend on your adverts being delivered across, in this case, Google. So, option one, we were going to use Google's automated bidding strategy in isolation. Now, we use Google's data, or allow Google to use their own data to serve our ads and dictate the bids. Just to give you an idea of how powerful Google's data is, they have around about, I think 7 products, and collectively every month globally they'll have over 1 billion users. And those users, Google will obtain information against them, pretty much all of them. And that's based on browsing behavior, that's based on buying behavior, and also post-purchase behavior. So the information is really, really powerful. So we thought, okay, great, we'll let Google run away, we'll let them control the bids. The second option we had was to continue with Google's automated bidding, because in theory, it's great. And then alongside it, we've got our own custom-built script. So this affects the baseline bid. So what we thought is there's information that Google hasn't got that we could contribute to the bidding process. So that's things such as seasonality of our products, that's brands that previously worked really well, and knowledge of what is upcoming in terms of the stock levels for this client. So, in theory, this option uses the best of both knowledges, both parties. So we've got Google's knowledge, which is completely about the user. We've got our knowledge, which is completely about the offering. By combining the two, in theory, we should have seen strong results. Fortunately, that was delivered in practice. So what you can see on screen at the moment is option one, and this is just for the search network, so the text ads. In option one, we saw a good uplift, a really strong uplift that the client was very happy with, just using Google's automated bidding. We saw around about a 16.8% ROAS lift. Really good, really happy client. But then when we contributed our own data, or our client's data, in with Google's own data about the user, we saw a huge lift, nearly 25%. Very happy client. And the message was exaggerated across the shopping network. So shopping networks, imagine the users, they're a little bit further down that conversion funnel, a bit more likely to purchase. So the data itself will become even more powerful because of the types of users we're targeting. And option one, again, using Google's automated bidding, we saw really strong results. But again, by combining the two sets of data, we saw improvement even more so. But this is what I do, this is what my team do, a wonderful team do, I should say that they're all here today. But we automate a lot of bidding on advertising, but that's not to say that's all we have to do, or you can do. So for example, advertising quality assurances, mass communication, reporting, advertising account management and data management, these are all processes that you can incorporate in your business using automation, improve the efficiency. I mentioned data a lot in this talk. I'm amazed I've gone this far mentioning data without actually talking about GDPR. So you'll be relieved to know I'm not going to talk about GDPR. I'm not going to hold you here while you're having your lunch and talk to you about the legal boundaries within GDPR. However, I suppose I wouldn't be doing my job in telling you that when you do obtain data, please ensure you're meeting regulations with GDPR. So we have a wealth of data. We've sourced it from our third parties. We've tapped into our own data. Now what do we do with it? Well, that's probably the last question you need to ask yourself. What can I do with it? If data isn't giving you any valuable information, then it's no use. You spent a fortune trying to obtain it on time, effort, money, but it's actually no use to you. So the the data you have must give you a story or a piece of information that you can use to your benefit. So just pausing for thought a little bit regarding some of the topics I've covered. Automation is not exclusive to large organizations anymore. There's various processes available to you for different parts of advertising and also business management. So it's important for you guys to go, I think, to actually think about your own automated processes. Can you incorporate any to improve the efficiency of your business being run and also your digital marketing activity? 28%. If I do this talk next year, that number's going to jump massively. That's how much programmatic marketing contributing to ad spend in 17-18. So have a think, your competitors, are they going to be doing programmatic marketing? Possibly. And especially if you thought, well, we're too small to do programmatic marketing, we don't have enough data to actually run programmatic marketing, our spend isn't enough. Well, if your competitors may be doing it, then maybe you need to start thinking, could you be utilising programmatic? I banged a drum about data, and it is really, really crucial that we set the conditions when we obtain data from third parties and from our own internal systems. Smaller advertisers adopting automated media buying. Again, that number's only growing because smaller businesses are adopting to automated bidding and ad purchases. A lot of larger organisations have been doing programmatic marketing and automated buying for a long period of time. So the reason the number is growing is because little ones are jumping on this bandwagon and think, I can do this. And they're seeing the positive results. So it's worth trying. Be an innovator. Don't follow the trend because you may miss that boat. And finally, going back to the case study that I spoke about a little bit earlier, please try and use your own data alongside some of this third-party data, because we have, like I say, each individual business will have a wealth of data available to them. We don't really necessarily understand the power that data will have for us and the information it could give us. And like I say, with all the third parties, the great third parties provide all this really powerful data. By combining the two and setting them conditions right, you may see similar results as to what we saw previously with my client. I didn't have long to talk about automation today, and it's something I could talk about for a long amount of time. But for now, this is my closing slide. I will be around at the Hallam stand and around the bar. Who am I kidding? I will be at the bar for most of the afternoon. So if anyone has any questions or would like to talk to me about automation or about paid media in general, please feel free to come find me, buy me a drink, and then we can have a chat. Thank you.